I don't even know what that is. It is Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. I just got done frankincensing the entire house, smudging, whatever you want to call it. And I saw the moon, but it looked like it was crying. And my heart felt really heavy for a second. And all I could feel being translated through me was the word Luna. Luna, Luna, Luna. Over and over and over, as if someone was being called. Luna. The night of emotions in reverse is exactly what I just was feeling. A whole bunch of stuff, and none of it was being expressed. I think that was about a minute of quietness, like silence, where I was thinking and feeling and talking, but there was nothing coming out. My hands are so huge on this camera. What the fuck? Ace of emotions. So we have the Knight of Cups, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups. Guys, I cannot shake this feeling. It's like a trembling, like a quivering of wanting to speak to something, wanting to see something, wanting to like touch something, and it just shaking while going towards it. That's what this feels like. A percussion or a repercussion? What's a percussion? Because I'm seeing those in a drum. The thing gets whacked and it goes and then like spins really, really quick. It's like that. That's what I'm feeling, the vibration of that shaking, but in someone's heart, and they're trying to speak it, and instead of speaking it, it's coming out in all these ripples of like because it's too much emotion. Something has been held back so much that in order to express it properly, it must be expressed in layers and layers and layers. And the mind and the emotions must be comprehended in layers and layers and layers, better and better and better than they were before. Layers and layers and layers and layers. Layers and layers and layers and layers. And layers and layers. The key is in the confidence in the self. How you think about yourself will lead you out of the cold depth of where you think you are, but you're actually not. You're somewhere completely different. This feels like wanting to express something to someone, but being on a different page than that person. And in order to elevate yourself to that stage or that person's vibration, you have to let something go and evolve yourself emotionally and mentally and spiritually and physically and all that to be on another level of yourself, which is a step closer in this spiral towards the expression of this horse energy that you carry, that you want to bring towards something and someone, but are unable to because it's an overwhelming amount of emotion. But the funny thing is, you're not drowning in those emotions, you're standing solid on ground. But it's so much emotion, you think you're underwater and drowning. That's what happens when you hold things back for so long. That's what happens when you hold things back for so long. Wow. So people haven't gotten in their own way for so long that now, in order to be authentic, it feels like the destruction of the self. But I mean, obviously, it would be. The self you thought you were isn't the self you are. So you have to let go of those selves. And the the version of you that exists in regards to another person exists in that way because you took inspired, honest action to communicate. You broke through previous versions of yourself that wouldn't and built up resistance, to not do something until you finally do it. And then it brings you a transformation of self because you're not those versions that didn't do it anymore. Now you are the version that did. So your thought pattern has to change. An elevation of emotional intelligence creates a different expression of self, which means a different way to look at things and to think about things as well. A maturation, a mastering of the self. Some of you want relationships so bad, but you wouldn't even date yourselves, yet you want someone else to put up with you. You want someone to coddle you out of your shadow side when you know yourself you're just in that shadow side because you enjoy it. And instead of actually enjoying it and doing good with it, you punish yourself for enjoying it. What kind of person do you think you're going to attract then? Justice and judgment. And the Ace of Cups and the Magician. Out of 6 cards, we have 3 major arcana, 1 ace, 1 court card, and 1 emotional or action card. Oh, 4 major arcana, the Emperor. Oh, well, yeah, look at that. The key is in your self-confidence, right? Look at all that color now expanding over the black and white. And it's the same color as your self-confidence. Because you are honest with yourself. You see the truth in how you've kept yourself in an old skin. and how you denied what you wanted because you were afraid to speak it. When you finally build the confidence enough to go for what you want and to accept what you want and who you are, then you can move through these versions of yourself into your new self. If it helps you to see it this way better, those two strands and those different versions of you, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, peeling back to reveal. Wait, how does this? Here it is. There. To reveal the real you, which is someone really, really confident. Doesn't matter where you are or where they are or where your versions were. It matters what you do now. See those little black and whites? The duality? Are you going to continue to let duality control you? Or are you going to master it? Rise up out of what you think you know about yourself and elevate it. You're more than you think. And others are more than what you think they are. Time seems to be moving so strangely for me right now. I keep thinking I've been doing this video for over an hour, and it hasn't even been 13 minutes. And the other video I did, the Saturn video, felt like it was just 5 minutes, barely. And then it was almost an hour when I was clicking the, publish button. The Muse of Voices. Again, with the energy of being inspired by what you hear and what you do with what you hear. Do you allow it to create a pathway for others to follow? Or do you attempt to create a monopoly on it, the little monopoly dude in his gas stations and hotels on every corner? Are those there to help, or are those there to gain profit? Are those previous versions of you going to continue to exist in a way where they're making decisions for you? Or are you going to decide where you're going based on who you are now and what you've learned? You can't keep going 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You have to think about 4 steps forward and then move 1 step forward while acknowledging the steps in the past you took. If you're walking on a bridge, it's not just where you're standing that exists, does it? You walked across a bridge. The previous part of you existed. The past is relevant. Your emotions are relevant. What you feel at any given time is relevant. But allowing it to drown you is not good. Those thoughts, those emotions, those actions are supposed to help create ripples in life to better everything for everyone. And if it's crippling you, then ask for that heaviness to be taken away. If what you feel for someone is so heavy that you can't express it, then ask for help. If what you're going through is so dark and deep that you don't know how you're ever going to get through it, speak up. Speak what you feel. Instead of expecting people to know how to save you when you don't even know what you need or what you want to eat. or even if your thoughts are your own, or if they're implanted, or if you're in the matrix or you're not, or if your neighbors are AI or not. There's so much stuff you guys don't know. But what you can know is who you are and how you feel and what you do and what you allow yourself to think. Nothing else matters outside of you until you yourself are okay within you yourself. If you're not okay within your own body and you're not being authentic with how you feel and express yourself, then your entire world is going to seem fake, isn't it? And you probably don't even know that you're not doing it, that you're not your authentic self. You probably think you are because you're authentically ignorant to it, and that's authentically okay. It's part of the learning process. But now is the time to really look at yourselves and ask, is this really who I want to be for another day? I can grow, I can evolve, I can change and expand and learn and adjust and shift, or I can stay the same. But if I stay the same, am I still allowing what I learned to help what I'm doing be wiser? You don't have to become an old person. You don't have to become the mother if you're the maiden. You don't have to become the crone if you're the mother. You don't have to become this or that. But you're still experiencing life and you're still learning, which means you must allow that wisdom to flow through you. And allow yourself to ever so slightly grow. And sometimes part of that growth is dealing with the past. When a butterfly is a butterfly, it doesn't just forget it came from a fucking caterpillar cocoon. It looks at it, it remembers, and then it flies off. But it takes a minute. It sits, it goes through its own processes. And then when it's ready, it releases, it expands its wings, and it never looks back. Ever. And a butterfly never knows its mother. It never knows its father. All it ever knows is its own existence and any other flying or crawling thing it sees in the world. The stories it can see for its short, brief life. And humans have this gift of life with the potential to be infinite, consciously infinite within a human vessel. All that's asked of you is to perpetually shed your skin and to improve yourself, to be true to yourself, and to share your truth with others, to inspire others to share their truth, so we can all move forward and dance our own songs in our own universes and our own spheres and have an entire reality of realities, multiple spheres working together instead of popping each other when they bounce against each other. There has to come a point where you recognize as an individual living being that you need to say some things, and that some things you've said maybe hurt people, and then some things you say to yourself are worse than what people think about you, and that just maybe you've been your own worst enemy because you were trying to protect yourself from doing something in your life that would have turned you into a monster. So you had to become your own villain within your own mind to get you to stay humble and kind, because you know, some of you, that there is great darkness in you. And if that darkness was allowed to grow, it would have become uncontainable. So you had a really hard life Is it still happening now? Right now? Right here, right now? Is there any monster in your life other than you, yourself, sitting there, talking to yourself horribly in your own mind? I'm here with you in this sacred space, but I'm not thinking your thoughts for you. That's you doing it. There's no one putting thoughts into your head right now. That's you doing it yourself. Who's the monster in the room? Who's the one making decisions for you to not express yourself to the people you love? Who is the one putting their hands over your mouth so that you cannot speak? Who's the one clouding your emotions so that you don't know which way to go? Who is here with you right now that's lying to you or deceiving you? Who? Are you really going to project it onto me? Or are you going to be brave and see your own shadow sides so that we can move forward as more intelligent beings instead of scared horses that need to be herded? 4 of materials in reverse. It's time to let go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Being let go. Camel in the desert. I thought it was an elephant. But they have memory. They have perseverance. They have family. They have tribes. And they move together. Camels can do it alone, but they're better off together. Roses are just as beautiful on their own, but they're also better together. And if you're holding something so close to your heart that you're not expressing to the world, then you can't even see the big rose right above your head. Because you're busy looking at the things you're turning away from, you wish you could have, you wish were still there, and things you wish were never there. And you miss the point of things that are hiding right there with you, all along, supporting you. Because you've been busy. Busy 3 of Pentacling with other people. Busy 2 of Pentacling your own pentacles. Busy waiting for Aces of Pentacles to come towards you so you can have an excuse to 10 of Wands and let things go. But so far, most of you have just made excuses to hold on to things, while the weight of carrying them just makes you wither. And all Source is asking you to do is be who you are now. Be the person who can handle what you've been through and learn from it instead of being the person here and now that was broken by it, that can't express it, that manifests things for themselves that cause pain to other people and themselves, that shares things with other people that it's like distortions of truth based on distortions of emotions and definitions of emotions within the self, based on distortions caused by family lineages, based on what they thought were certain emotions, based on how you're supposed to express those emotions to people you care about, in a society created on beliefs based on thousands of years of deceit. And you want to know why your relationships aren't working. Do you see how silly it is? All those little cows carrying all those little things, when she can all put them together, like in a little basket, and just have one cow carry all that, and the rest of the cows can just graze. Sow seeds into the ground, create fertility everywhere. Maybe take that giant friggin' cloak and cowl off and just bathe in sunlight. But no, instead you've chosen to do it the hard way. It's so silly. It reminds me of those movie scenes in like those romantic movies where the person is waiting for them to say something before they give up on them, and then they think about saying it, but they don't say it, and then the person never hears it, and then they both go on their life like never having known the truth about what the other one felt. And their entire lives go on a different spectrum of experience based on one fucking conversation that was never had, due to someone repressing their emotions and knowing better. Knowing that emotions are meant to flow instead of be repressed. Because once they're repressed, emotions within the physical body create a sense of mud, a swamp, quicksand, a void, depending on how you alchemically combine the emotional energy with your inherent emotional capacity, whether it's earthly, watery, airy, or fiery. Six of inspiration. Look at that. Taking all those little moo cows and letting them graze while you just bask in the sun. It's astonishing to me the choices humanity makes, and then complains about those choices, and then villainizes people for pointing out those absurd choices that have been made. It's like seeing an 8-year-old with a cigarette in their mouth. Like, why is there a cigarette in that 8-year-old's mouth? I don't care if it's candy. Why is it there? Who told you that feeling love inside of you means to keep your mouth shut? Who told you that when someone like wrongs you in some way that you don't have the right to say, hey, that's not fucking cool that you did that to me? Whoever told you that it's okay for your parents to lead your love life? Who the fuck told you that you should be paying for an apple? Is it an apple being imported from freaking Mars? No. It's an apple you can grow in your backyard, right? Am I missing something? Oh, right. You created a society with money. Oh, right. Okay. Another layer of self-deceit and procrastination. Well, I don't want to deal with the plumbing. Create a plumbing service. Well, I don't want to deal with people's mental health. Create mental health facilities. Well, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with this, and I don't want to deal with that. Create this government, create that machine over there, create this construct over here. Put it all on autopilot and let me just deceive myself into fucking cosmic complacency. Because the truth of it all is you are God and there is only ever God. So God got fucking lonely. And God said, I cannot be by myself anymore. So I'm going to dream a dream where I'm not me. And if any of you try to wake me from that dream, I'll reset it all until I forget, again and again and again. Because it's just all God. And you think yourself separate. I wonder why. So I'm not here to wake you up. I'm here to remind you that you're about to experience a part of the dream you don't want to experience. So if you'd like to experience a better part of the dream, then listen, because I'm sending you a message, and I'm you. And I'm telling you, me, if you want to experience a better life, a better dream, you can't do this shit. You cannot sugarcoat and hold back and hope people can read your mind. You can't. It doesn't work that way. You can't just sit there and wait for someone to find you and rescue you. Because everybody's in this position. Everybody. 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 Everyone is alone. But everyone is together in that aloneness. Because we are all source. And source is all. Each one of those stars is another sun with millions and millions and millions of life forms. Whether you can see them or not. So when you're out here thinking you're by yourself and you can't tell the person you love that you love them, or you can't be kind to yourself because of so-and-so experience, or you think people are attacking you in videos on the internet, or you're like off somewhere stealing shit from people, or you're off cheating or doing whatever horrible low vibrational thing you're doing to keep yourself from remembering that you are God. Keep doing it. It's your choice. But do not villainize other people. Because you know damn well the God spark within you why you're denying yourself and your truth. Not just to yourself, but to other people as well. So don't drag other people down when you know what you're doing to yourself. You're keeping yourself asleep. And that's okay. I'm not here to wake you up in that way. I'm just here to tell you, can you maybe enjoy this path you're on and be kinder to other people? If you feel something, tell them. If you love someone, tell them. If you miss someone, tell them. If you know you're doing something self-destructive, improve your behavior. Stop saying you're going to do it later. Do it fucking now. Do you need to vacuum and you haven't? Fucking do it now. Do you need to make a doctor's appointment and you haven't? Do it now. Because you obviously don't know how to instantly manifest yet, so why don't you go get the help that you need? Why are you not kinder to yourself? I do not care if you're a multi-billionaire space pirate or if you're, a peasant watching this on someone else's friggin' webcam in between a sewer and a fucking subway somewhere. I don't care. I don't even care if you're humanoid or bipedal. Can you be kinder to yourself and tell the people around you that you feel positive emotions regarding their existence? And can you look at yourself and acknowledge how you have kept yourself from being your truest self because it's been easier to be asleep to your true potential? Because once you realize who you really are and what you're really capable of, all of this reality will seem like you don't want to be a part of it anymore. You just want to walk away from it and fall back into eternity. Just to be embraced by the Great Mother and say, that star, that rage I hold on to, here you go. Just let me sleep. You have to take responsibility for how you feel throughout the day for yourselves and how your words and actions affect ripples throughout the time stream of reality. So many of you deny who you really are and what you really feel, and you think other people are the same as you. Just like I, sitting here, assume wrongfully that other people have as much awareness as I do. And that to point that out to those with less awareness, it seems like I am attacking them. And there's nothing I can do about that. Nothing. So I have to release it. Because I cannot worry about how you're receiving the message coming through me. Because I don't know what pain you're holding on to that you refuse to let go of, that's keeping you from hearing what's being said. So I don't know how to fix your boo-boo for you when you don't know what caused it. Because you know if you knew, you couldn't play the way you play anymore. It's like being bored of playing Monopoly and you pick up, Jenga or something. You're not the same person who was playing Monopoly anymore. So why are you going to play Jenga with Monopoly rules? Shift, adjust. Can't be that difficult, can it? You change channels on a TV. You go from one song to the next. You watch a horror movie, then you watch a Disney show, don't you? So what's the problem from going from black to white? Or from white to black? From being who you were to being who you know you're supposed to be. And then changing from that to the next that. If you could only see yourselves the way God sees you, and realize there is no separation. When God sees you, God looks in the mirror. And most of you are busy judging what you see in the mirror to simply look at God looking back at you and say, I love you. To look at yourselves in the mirror with your skin moisturized, hydrated, glowing with warm sunlight, and to just admire your beauty. There is no one else like you in existence. And you have the audacity to insult any other living being's expression of self when you cannot even look in the mirror without finding something to complain about. And you wonder why the world is as dark as it is, when there are billions of these beings who project their own hatred into the stream of consciousness of others. Because they are tired of being miserable on their own. Like little crabs in a barrel pulling each other down. Don't you dare get freedom, how dare you? You better stay and be miserable like the rest of us. How dare you love yourself? How dare you look at your reality and question it? How dare you reveal a new skin? How dare you accept your shadow side and your light side and your ego and give glory to God? How dare you accept the mother and the father within? How dare you accept yourself as divine? How dare you align with the lunar cycles instead of a man-made fucking calendar? How dare you eat healthy foods instead of eating food made for an android? How dare you know thyself? How dare you? Seven of Swords. You want to talk about this? Or you want to pretend that you don't do this? No, go ahead. You want to pretend I'm projecting onto you? How do you want to play this? Which thread should we follow to get you to see that this is all about you? So that when I say you, you're actually hearing yourself, instead of assuming that the video you're watching is of someone that's mentally unstable talking to themselves. At what point are you going to have the self-awareness to realize that even the screen you're looking at is first and foremost reflecting you back at you in black and white? And then the color appears, and then other images appear behind that glass. And then you hear voices, and you see things move, and you see the dance of light reflected behind what you see yourself as yourself in that black liquid crystal display you call the screen. But go ahead. Would you like to project onto me some more? As if I'm thinking your thoughts for you. Or are you ready to admit to yourself where you need to grow and what you need to heal? And that maybe, just maybe, you didn't know what healing actually meant until now. And that it's okay to forgive yourself, to love yourself, to accept yourself, and to take absolutely no shit from anybody. And that you were wrong, and that you still need some healing and loving. That you do need to be touched and held and tucked in, even if you're 100 years old. That you were cruel to yourself for decades on end. That the devil you created has been first and foremost in your mind, and then you saw confirmations in your external world. And you were like, dang, I knew that devil existed. But it was first within you, wasn't it? The shadow speaks the truth with open mouths. The light keeps its mouth shut and observes. When you can do both at the same time within yourself, the path opens. So which side are you denying? Can you go forward without either one? You see the egg? You're within that egg. Are you going to say one corner of that egg is worse than the other one, or that there's even a corner? Do you see how I have to turn things around over and over and over and bring them to you from the light and the dark, so that you can see what you're not seeing that's right in front of you? So that you can see what you're not seeing that's right in front of you. I don't want to talk about that, God. No. Ugh, fine. Allow the lion within you, regardless of what your zodiac sign is, to roar without you silencing it. That means something to some of you, and to others of you, you're probably trying to analyze it, which means it's not for you yet. Rewind it and listen to it again. If it rings true, figure out what it means for you. Look, how are you dimming your light to fit in? Where are you being called to journey to? You have to stop dimming your light, guys. And you think it's just an expression. But every time you keep your mouth shut about something horrible, like every time you shut your mouth to not say something that needs to be said, you're feeding the shadow. Every time you say something that needs to be said, but you do it in a really like intentionally hurtful way to someone, you're not doing it right for yourself. So really take some time. Let me get one of these Isis cards and see which chamber or which temple you should be going within to sort this out within yourself. Because if the entire world had an emotional release, we'd all be a little more clear-headed, wouldn't we? The Lunar Queen, she of the Celestial Crescent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we're just going to go right to the ritual part. Where is this? What number is this? The Lunar Queen. L. The Lunar Queen, page 200. There is a deep feminine wisdom that recognizes the importance of cycles of rest and replenishment as essential balancing to our actions of power and demonstration. You are asked to allow this replenishment for yourself now, trusting that you are in a cycle of creation that is about to shift into a new phase. Release and enjoy the process without having to control or force it. Isis, as the Lunar Queen, understands the cycles of creative power and flow. Sometimes it can be hard to let go of a desire, to force control and to make things happen, to exert might and willpower to bring what you wish for into being by sheer determination, exertion, and force. Yet the vast creative power of the feminine principle is in honoring and flowing with cycles of activity and rest, of releasing force and surrendering into the perfection of what is happening right now. Realizing that this actually brings us divine manifestation and creation more effortlessly and gracefully, and to greater effect. I'm not going to read all this, so we're just going to pause this and read over it. Healing with She of the Celestial Crescent. Okay, rest quietly in a space where you will not be disturbed and close your eyes. Imagine that you can travel behind your eyes and find a vast, black, open, endless space there. Deeper and deeper you travel within, following the movement of breath and going further within your own vast awareness, away from the everyday world. In the darkness of your own inner vision, of your own inner vastness, there is the soft light of a crescent moon. You sense the soft outlines of its glow as it makes an arc-like movement, growing in size from a slight crescent moon towards fullness until it is a softly glowing disk of the full moon in the sky. Feel the joyful light of the full moon. You notice that the moon begins its next phase, decreasing slowly to a tiny slither in the sky once more, and then apparently disappearing altogether as a dark moon, not visible at all. And then the process starts again. Observe the process, feeling it, seeing it, sensing it, and affirming it with your own being. Feel the peace that you sense within you as you realize the regularity of the moon phases. No force is required. They just happen. When you are ready, become aware of your forehead. Imagine that there is a crescent moon resting on your forehead for a moment. And then simply focus on your breathing. Become aware of your body once more. When you are ready, just open your eyes. You can say this incantation to begin the ritual above, or as an independent practice to support you when you need the inner strength to give yourself permission to rest, to replenish, to be patient, to allow things to cook, to balance rest and activity, and to find your inner flow. The lunar queen, Lady Isis, goddess of night, help me now to follow the neutral light of the shining moon in all her flow. I release force and fear. Help me let go. Guided by the crescent moon, now I am open to receive great boon. The page numbers of this are 200, 201, 202, and 203. The next page is Truth Unveiled, the Revelation of Isis. I do kind of want to do audiobook readings. I don't know who was just saying that, but I've thought about it. Look at that. Again, right there. You just saw me shuffle, right? Okay, good. All right. I'm going to go and light more freaking frankincense and drink some water to clear this energy out. I advise you do the same. Smudge your place, drink some water, stretch, bask in the light. Even if you're in complete darkness, bask in your own light for just a few seconds. Pretend you're sitting on a crescent moon and just float.